Good morning. And thanks for coming out for what we look to be a great new beginning for New Bedford Whaling National Historical Park, for the city, and for all the visitors who come to each year to New Bedford with the launch of our new Park Shuttle. All right. And as you are all well aware of, we have so many great attractions here in the city. Our museums, Fort Tabor, our beaches, the zoo, our working waterfront, a thriving arts and culture scene, and not least of all, a deep and nationally significant history exemplified through our historic buildings and landscapes here downtown. What this shuttle has the potential to do is to connect all of those experiences into a much greater whole. Now when people come to the visitor center with an interest in places like the Roachstone Stuff House, the Ernestina, or just the sweeping views of the open water once viewed by whaling captains as they sailed out to the ocean, visitors who may once have been dissuaded by a long walk or having to pile into the car again will have a way to get there. And as this starts to take hold, what we will see over time is that what used to be a 2-hour trip to New Bedford to visit one site becomes a day-long or a multi-day trip as people discover just how much there is to do here. In this way, the shuttle can raise the visibility of the park and the city and cement our identity as a true tourist destination. Because it's all about connections. And today, as we reconnect our historic core with the waterfront through the Route 18 redevelopment project, and connect so many of the recreationally and culturally rich sites that we have throughout the city with our new Park Shuttle, and use all of this to connect visitors and ourselves with our rich history and resources, we're looking at a new era in New Bedford. We're connecting with our future. Now, bringing the shuttle to fruition has been a 4-year process, and I very much want to thank everyone that helped make it happen. First and foremost, this is a true partnership between the city, SRTA, and who's actually the agency who's operating the shuttles, and the National Park Service. It's been a great example of how much more we can accomplish through collaboration than any of us ever could on our own. So thank you very much to Eric Rousseau, the new administrator for SRTA.
Thank you.
To Mayor Mitchell and his staff.
Thank you.
And to former Mayor Scott Lang for all of your support throughout this process. The project was made possible by the Federal Transit Administration, who funded this as a pilot program through a Transit and Parks grant. We're also supported by the National Park Foundation, who funded 2 transportation scholars, Stephen Tupper, who's here today, and Manasi Kumalachu, who over the course of a year helped shepherd the project through its final stages. Stephen and Manasi, your work was outstanding. All the graphic elements associated with the shuttle, the wrap, the brochures, everything you see here today, were produced through a partnership with UMass Dartmouth's College of Visual and Performing Arts. Thank you to Dean Teo, to Professor David Chapman, whose class took on this project, and to the class themselves, our Design Current team, who produced exemplary work. I'd like to call out one member in particular, Kara Pearson, who really went above and beyond the call of duty. So much so that we hired her into an internship at the park. Thank you, Kara. I'd also like to say thank you to our staff and volunteers at the park who have been steadfast as always. To our park partners and all the stakeholders who participated in workshops over the past few years to provide input into the design of the service. In particular to the Harbor Development Commission, who played a critical role in the project's development, and the Buttonwood Park Zoo and Fort Tabor Military Museum, who've been working with us as 2 of the other anchor sites on the shuttle route. To the Volpe Center for Transportation Studies, who produced the feasibility study for the project. To Downtown New Bedford, Inc., who served as our liaison to the local business community. And to the businesses themselves, who are helping to promote the shuttle and who provide so many other vital pieces of our visitor experience day in and day out. And lastly, thank all of you today for coming out to helping us celebrate this milestone in our new National Park Shuttle. With that, I'd like to introduce Eric Rousseau, the administrator for SRTA. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Eric Rousseau. I am the administrator for the Southeastern Regional Transit Authority, and I just have to say, when Jen came to us in the National Park and the City of New Bedford, when they came together and they asked us to take part in this, we said absolutely for two major reasons. The first reason was that this is a unique transportation opportunity. There are fewer than a handful of these types of transportation operations in the country right now. So this was a fantastic opportunity to just get out there, do something different, make some new connections. And the second and more important thing for me was that we were very excited to be able to build this partnership, and we hope it's a model for future partnerships that we have with all of the communities, all the different organizations. So thank you to, again, the FTA for helping us through this process. Thank you to Jen and Mayor Mitchell. This has been fantastic. We really appreciate it, and we're excited to be here. And with that, Mayor Mitchell.
Thanks, Eric.
Morning, everybody. I have to say, as I was driving down the street in the van and looking around, I thought, there's the banner ahead, and I thought, boy, this is a lot of fun. I can't believe that I get paid to do this. It is a lot of fun, but behind the fun and behind the press event is a lot of hard work, and the two people that are standing by my side deserve an awful lot of credit for making it happen. Jen has done a fantastic job shepherding the national park since she arrived here a few years ago, and really sees both the small picture in terms of the details of operating the park, but also the big picture. And the big picture is connecting the park with everything else that we do here in the city and in the region. And this effort is really a manifestation of that approach, of that vision. And so, Jen, thank you so much for your hard work in this. We have a transit agency in the region, formerly known as SRTA. Now it's SRTA. Big, just a change in emphasis, but it's important to note the change because it's an agency that's undergone and undergoing some change and rebranding itself and representing itself to the public. And Eric Rousseau is really the point person in that effort. And without SRTA's involvement here in a very real and deep way, we wouldn't be able to pull this off today. So SRTA is re-immersing itself into the community, not just this community, but communities throughout the region, all the ones that it serves. So it's a real pleasure to have you up here and recognize SRTA's efforts, Eric. Let me also thank Professor David Chapman for his efforts. We've got some wonderfully talented students over at the College of Visual and Performing Arts. They really do a fantastic job. It's a school that's growing, that's having a big impact on our community, and is helping our arts community thrive here in the city, which is really important to our long-term, both our long-term economic success, but also in helping us succeed as a community that wants to embrace its novelty, and that's one of the things that's going to be important for our future. There are many others to thank here. Many of you are in attendance. I don't want to go down the list. I think Jen covered all of it very well. Suffice to say, I just want to thank everyone for their efforts. This was a really a team approach. Here's how I see what we're doing here today, and the creation of the New Bedford line. Picture yourself as a tourist. We've all been tourists in other places, and when part of the joy of tourism is exploration, right? Getting out to a place you haven't seen before and just sort of experiencing it for yourself, just getting immersed in restaurants and places where others have been, where history has been made, and where other people work and play. What is somewhat challenging here in New Bedford, as you might imagine, for a tourist coming here, is that so many of the good things that we have to offer are somewhat far-flung, right? So we have the downtown area and the historic district and the park right here. That's all very walkable, but then there are some key pieces that are somewhat remote. So there's the Roach Jones Duff House, There's the zoo, which is up in the west end. Down in the south end, we have spectacular views and one of the best public spaces on the East Coast down at Fort Tabor. It's hard for a tourist to navigate that terrain and do it efficiently in a way that facilitates the exploration experience, right? There might be some reluctance to drive to this point and that point. What the New Bedford line will do is just make it easy on the tourist, and will make the experience just as fulfilling, but also a lot easier on tourists. And so it'll make tourists go back and say, hey, you know what, New Bedford's pretty cool. You can get to all these sites, they're all wonderful, and you can do it easily. Just jump on a bus, and so what we hope to do is word will spread. This is really, in many ways, a marketing opportunity, not just in the direct sense, but also more broadly. Have more people spreading the word about New Bedford and what a neat tourist destination it is. And as Jen points out, it's a place where you can spend a whole day, not just breeze through. There's a lot to be seen here. We all know that. We live here. We appreciate what we have, but we want the rest of the world to see it the same way. And this, having easy transportation, linking up all these sites, will really help us in that way. So it's a great initiative. It's one that will really enhance life in the city and tourism in the city, and I'm very proud to be part of it. I just want to thank everybody again for all of your hard work. Thank you.
That's it. Everybody get set for your first shuttle ride.
Happy birthday, dear Corinne. Happy birthday to you.
Your choice to recycle can affect more people than you think. Call Marissa at 508-979-1493 to request your free recycling bins. This message was brought to you by the City of New Bedford and UMass Dartmouth Charlton School of Business.